She was kept as a prisoner just to cook, until the Apache's son wanted her as his wife, because sometimes a single choice can unite two worlds or destroy them both. What began as a simple arrangement, food in exchange for survival, would ignite a transformation that neither culture was prepared for. A prisoner who was never meant to matter, a warrior who was never supposed to fall, and a love that would force an impossible question. Can love truly bridge worlds so distant, cultures so deep, or would choosing each other mean the destruction of everything they'd ever known? The answer would come with fire, blood, and a decision that would change two peoples forever. I love knowing where you're watching from. Let me know in the comments what corner of the world are you watching from today. Arizona Territory, 1870. The raid came at dawn. Sarah Mitchell was kneading bread in her family's small ranch kitchen when she heard the screams. By the time she understood what was happening, Apache warriors were already inside the house. Her father reached for his rifle. He didn't make it. Her mother ran for the door. She never reached it. Sarah froze by the stove as a warrior grabbed her arm. She waited for the knife, for the end. But it didn't come. Instead, the warrior, older, with streaks of gray in his long black hair, studied her with calculating eyes. He pointed at the stove, then at the bread, then at Sarah. They weren't going to kill her. They were taking her. The journey to the Apache camp lasted 3 days. Sarah was tied to a horse, given just enough water to survive. Around her, the warriors carried stolen goods from raids. And her. She was cargo too. Property. When they reached the camp, Sarah was dragged before the tribal council. An elder translated into broken English. You cook. You serve. You obey. You live. You refuse. He drew a finger across his throat. I'll cook, Sarah said, her voice shaking. I'll do whatever you want. The elder nodded. Chief Kuruk keeps you. You belong to his lodge now. Chief Kuruk, the grey-haired warrior who'd spared her. Sarah was led to a large lodge. An elderly woman gestured impatiently at the fire pit, at cooking implements. The message was clear: get to work. So Sarah cooked, because it was the only thing keeping her alive. She made stews from unfamiliar game, bread from cornflour. Learned to prepare meals the Apache way, watching, imitating, terrified of making a mistake. The work was endless. Dawn to long past dark. Her hands blistered, her back ached. She slept on the ground near the fire. She was a prisoner, a slave, kept alive for one purpose: to cook. But on the third day, everything changed. Sarah was grinding corn when a shadow fell across her workspace. She looked up, and her breath caught. A young man stood there, mid-20s, tall and powerfully built, with long black hair and dark eyes that seemed to see right through her. He wore traditional Apache clothing, but something about him, confident, commanding, marked him as different. He said something in Apache. Sarah shook her head. He tried again, slower. She caught one word. Taki. Food. Oh, yes. Food. Sarah scrambled to her feet. I'll make you something. He tilted his head, studying her. Then he spoke in halting English. You, white woman. Why? Here. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Because your people killed my family and took me prisoner. Because if I don't cook, they'll kill me too. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, regret. I am Ashki, he said slowly, son of Chief Kuruk. The chief's son. Of course. Sarah, she whispered. My name is Sarah. Sahra. He tested the name carefully. You are prisoner, but... He struggled for words. Safe, I make sure. Before Sarah could respond, another warrior called out. Ashki turned, then looked back at her. I go now. But you safe? I promise. Then he was gone, leaving Sarah confused and shaken. Why had the chief's son promised her safety? Over the following days, Sarah noticed him watching her. Not obviously, but she'd feel his eyes on her as she worked. When other warriors made crude comments or tried to grab her, Ashki would appear, say something sharp, and they'd back off. He was protecting her. One evening, as Sarah cleaned pots by the stream, Ashki approached. He held something wrapped in cloth. For you, he said simply. Sarah unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a beautiful blanket, soft, woven with intricate patterns. I can't accept this, Sarah said. I'm just a prisoner. You cold at night by fire. Ashki's English was improving. This gift from me. Why? The question burst out. Why are you being kind to me? Ashki was quiet for a long moment. You not deserve this. Being prisoner, losing family. He touched his chest. I feel wrong. What happened to you? Sarah's throat tightened. This warrior, her captor's son, was the first person to show her humanity since the raid. Thank you, she whispered. Ashki nodded. Then, hesitantly, he sat down on the grass near her. Not too close, respectful. Tell me about you, he said. Before, your life. And somehow, under the darkening Arizona sky, Sarah found herself talking. About her family's small ranch, her mother's garden, her father's dreams. All gone now, all destroyed. Ashki listened without interrupting. When she finished, tears streaming down her face, he spoke softly. My mother, killed, when I was boy. White soldiers, they... He struggled with the words. Burned village. Many died. Sarah looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the same grief she carried. They were enemies by all logic. Her people had killed his mother. His people had killed her family. But in that moment, by the stream in the fading light, they were just two people who'd lost everything. I'm sorry, Sarah said. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Ashki met her eyes. I'm sorry about your family, about this. He gestured at the camp. You should not be prisoner. But I am. Yes. Ashki's jaw tightened. For now. What did that mean? For now. Before Sarah could ask, voices called from the camp. Ashki stood quickly. I must go, but... He looked at her with an expression she couldn't read. Be careful. Some warriors. They not like you here. They want... He didn't finish, but Sarah understood. Some wanted her dead, or worse. I'll be careful, Sarah promised. Ashki nodded. Then he did something unexpected. He smiled. A small, genuine smile that transformed his serious face. Good night, Sarah. Good night, Ashki. Sarah watched him walk away, the blanket clutched in her hands, and felt something shift inside her chest. The chief's son was not what she expected, and what she was beginning to feel for him was more dangerous than any threat in this camp. The gift started appearing 3 days later. Soft leather moccasins, a carved wooden comb, dried berries, a rabbit fur for sleeping, salve for her blistered hands. Sarah knew who was leaving them. Ashki never acknowledged the gifts directly, but she'd catch him watching her use them, a small smile on his lips. The other Apache noticed. Whispers, disapproving looks, but no one challenged the chief's son. Their evening conversations became routine. After Sarah finished work, she'd go to the stream. Ashki would appear, as if by coincidence. His English improved rapidly. Sarah's Apache grew steadily. Shai, Ashki said one evening, pointing to himself, means my son. What you call family words in English? My son, my daughter, my mother, my father, Sarah replied. She hesitated. All gone now. Not all. Ashki's dark eyes held hers. You here, you alive. That means something. Means I'm a prisoner who cooks to survive. No, means you strong, fighter. Ashki leaned closer. You choose live, that takes courage. The air between them felt charged, dangerous. Ashki began teaching Sarah Apache intentionally, pointing at objects, making her repeat words. In return, Sarah taught him more English. Two people from warring cultures, teaching each other words that might bridge the gap between them. Why do you care? Sarah asked one night. Why does it matter if I learn Apache? Ashki was quiet. Because if you understand our words, you understand our hearts. Maybe you see we not all monsters, like I see you not all enemy. I never thought you were monsters, Sarah said softly. You're just people, like us, trying to survive. Ashki's expression shifted, something raw and vulnerable. You understand. More than my own people sometimes. Because I've lost everything too. The world gave me one thing. Ashki's voice dropped to a whisper. You. Sarah's breath caught. Ashki, I know, is wrong. You are prisoner. I am... He gestured helplessly. But when I see you, I feel something I not feel before. That's dangerous talk, Sarah whispered, her heart racing. For both of us. I know, but dangerous not make it less true. From the camp, someone called Ashki's name. He stood reluctantly. Be careful. My cousin Hania, he watching you. He not happy about my attention to you. After he left, Sarah sat by the stream, mind spinning. She was falling for her captor's son, and he was falling for her. The confrontation came 2 nights later. Sarah was banking the fire when Hania, Ashki's cousin, a warrior with cruel eyes, grabbed her arm roughly. White woman, he spat in broken English, you think you special? You slave, always slave, you should die like your family. Sarah tried to pull away. His grip tightened. She is under my protection. Ashki's voice cut through the night like a blade. He stood at the edge of firelight, face dark with anger. Hania dropped Sarah's arm but didn't back down. She is white. Enemy. You bring shame on your family with this weakness. Weakness? Showing mercy is weakness? This not mercy, cousin. Everyone sees how you look at her. It is disgrace. Enough. Chief Kuruk's voice boomed. The old chief emerged from his lodge, face stern. What is meaning of this? Hania pointed at Sarah. Your son dishonors himself over white woman. Prisoner. Kuruk's eyes moved to Ashki. Is this true, my son? You have feelings for the prisoner. The whole camp went silent. Sarah's heart pounded. Yes. Ashki lifted his chin. It is true. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Kuruk's face hardened. She is enemy. You cannot... She is person, Ashki interrupted, who has lost everything like we have. Her people kill our people kill her people. When does it end, father? When they are gone from our lands. Kuruk's voice was iron. You are my son. You will be chief one day. You cannot have feelings for white woman. Then maybe I should not be chief. Silence spread like ripples. You would give up your birthright? Kuruk asked quietly. For her? Ashki looked at Sarah, really looked at her, and she saw the decision in his eyes. Yes, he said simply. If choosing her means I lose everything else. Yes. Kuruk stared at his son. Then he turned to the council. We will discuss this tomorrow. For now, everyone return to your lodges. The crowd dispersed, muttering. Hania shot Sarah a look of pure hatred. Ashki approached Sarah slowly. I am sorry. I have made things difficult for you. You defended me, Sarah whispered. You chose me in front of everyone. Yes, because I cannot pretend anymore, cannot hide what I feel. Ashki, your father, your people, they'll never accept this. Maybe, maybe not, but I am tired of pretending you mean nothing to me. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. This is impossible. Many impossible things happen. Ashki's thumb brushed her cheek. You are alive, I found you. We speak to each other, learn from each other. Maybe we can do one more impossible thing. What? This. And he kissed her. It was soft, tentative, a question rather than a demand. Sarah froze for a heartbeat, then melted into it, her hands gripping his shoulders. This was forbidden, dangerous, wrong by every rule of both their worlds. But it felt like the only right thing in a world gone mad. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard, foreheads pressed together. I love you, Ashki whispered in Apache. Then in English, I love you, Sarah. I love you too, Sarah breathed. God help us both. I love you too. They'd crossed a line they could never uncross. The impossible had happened, and there would be no going back. The council meeting was called at dawn. Sarah wasn't allowed inside, but she could see from the fire. Ashki stood before his father and the elders, his posture rigid but determined. She couldn't hear the words, but she could read the tension. Ashki speaking, the elders shaking their heads, Kuruk's face growing darker. Finally, voices rose. Ashki gestured towards Sarah. Kuruk slammed his hand down. The meeting dissolved into chaos. When Ashki emerged, his face was stone. "What happened?" Sarah asked quietly. "Later. At the stream. After sunset." The day dragged endlessly. Sarah cooked, served, cleaned, all while feeling hostile eyes on her, Hania's especially. At sunset, Sarah slipped away to the stream. Ashki was already there, pacing. "I asked my father for permission to marry you," he said without preamble. Sarah's heart stopped. "You what?" I asked, formally, before the council. Ashki's jaw clenched. "They said no." "Of course they said no. I'm a prisoner. The enemy." "You are not enemy. You are woman I love." "There's too much blood between us. Then we make new path, without blood. Your father won't allow it. The council says you remain prisoner," Ashki continued, his voice rough. "They argue about your purpose. Hania proposed you become common property, that any warrior who wants you can—" Horror washed over Sarah. "No. Ashki, no. I will not let that happen." Ashki pulled her against his chest. "I swear on my life, I will not let anyone touch you." "How can you stop them? I take you away before they can act." Sarah pulled back. "What?" "We leave. Tonight, if necessary." "You can't. This is your home. Your people. Your birthright." "What good is birthright if I must watch woman I love be destroyed?" Ashki's eyes burned. "I will not sacrifice you for politics, for old hatreds. They'll hunt us, your father—" "My father will understand, eventually, or he won't. But I choose you, Sarah." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "You'd give up everything for me." "I already have." The next morning, Kuruk summoned Sarah. She entered his lodge with trembling hands, Ashki beside her. "You may stay," Kuruk said to his son, "since this concerns you both." The old chief studied Sarah. "My son believes he loves you." "Father," Kuruk held up a hand, "tell me, do you love my son, or do you simply see him as escape?" Sarah met his eyes steadily. "I don't want to love him. It would be easier if I didn't. But I do. He's shown me kindness when everyone else showed cruelty. He sees me as a person, not property, and yes, I love him." "Love?" Kuruk said the word like a curse. "Love between Apache and white has brought nothing but pain. My own sister married white man. When his people came, he let them kill her, stood by and did nothing." Sarah's breath caught. "I'm not him." "No, but you are white, and my people have suffered much at white hands." Kuruk's face was stone. "I cannot allow this marriage. The council has decided. You remain prisoner. My son will marry a Apache woman chosen for him." "No." Ashki's voice was quiet but absolute. "I will not." "You defy me? Your chief?" "I defy decision that is wrong. Where is justice in keeping Sarah prisoner? Where is wisdom in forced marriage? Wisdom is protecting our people, our ways. Our future will die if we hold on to hate." Ashki took Sarah's hand. "I love her. She loves me. We can build bridge between our peoples. Or you will be killed by her people for being Apache, and she will be killed by ours for being white." Kuruk's voice was heavy. "Love is not enough, my son. Then we leave." The words fell like stones. Kuruk's face went pale. "What did you say?" "We leave. Tonight. I take Sarah away from here. We find somewhere neither side hunts us." "You would abandon your people? Your duty?" "You are forcing me to choose between duty and love." Ashki's voice shook. "I choose love, father. I choose her." Kuruk stood slowly, face twisted with rage and pain. "If you leave, you are dead to me. You are no longer my son, no longer Apache. You will be exile, enemy." "Father, please, enough!" Kuruk's roar shook the lodge. "You have until sunrise to leave. After that, if you are still here, she becomes common property, and you I will exile formally, stripped of name, of heritage, of everything." Ashki's face went white, but his grip on Sarah's hand never wavered. "So be it." They left the lodge in silence. Outside, the camp had gathered. They'd heard everything. Faces showed shock, anger, disgust. Some showed sympathy. Hanaya stepped forward, face twisted with malice. "Running away, cousin? Taking your white whore with you?" Ashki moved so fast, Sarah barely saw it. One moment Hanaya was sneering. The next he was on the ground, Ashki's knife at his throat. "Say that again," Ashki said quietly. "Please, give me reason." Hania's eyes widened with fear. "She is woman I love, woman I would die for, and if any man here touches her or tries to stop us..." Ashki pressed the knife deeper. "I will kill him, tribe law or no." He stood, leaving Hania gasping. "We leave at moonrise," Ashki said to Sarah. "Pack what you need." As they walked away, Sarah heard whispers. An older woman pressed dried meat into Sarah's hands. A young warrior nodded at Ashki with respect. Not everyone agreed with the council, but it didn't matter, because in choosing each other, they'd lost everything else. "Are you sure?" Sarah whispered as they prepared to flee. "We can't go back from this." Ashki cupped her face gently. "I have never been more sure of anything. You are my future, Sarah. Everything else is just past." And as the moon rose over the Apache camp, two people from different worlds prepared to leave everything they knew behind, for love, for each other, for the impossible chance that their hearts could bridge what their peoples could not. Sarah packed her few belongings. They would head west toward the mountains. It was a desperate plan, but it was the only plan they had. Sarah was preparing their final meal when she heard the screams. "Fire! Fire!" She ran outside. Smoke billowed from one of the lodges, the communal lodge where the children slept. Children. Sarah's feet moved before her mind caught up. She ran toward the burning lodge, pushing through the crowd. "The children," a woman screamed. "They're inside." Warriors hesitated at the entrance, driven back by flames. The lodge was engulfed, crackling. Sarah grabbed a blanket, soaked it in the water barrel, and wrapped it around herself. "What are you doing?" Ashki grabbed her arm. "You'll die! There are children in there! Sarah, no!" But she was already moving. She dropped low beneath the smoke and crawled into the inferno. To her left, Sarah crawled toward it, her hands finding small bodies huddled in the corner. 3 children. The youngest couldn't be more than 4. "Come with me," Sarah said, coughing. "Now, follow my voice." She grabbed the smallest child, tucked him against her chest. "Hold on to my dress," she told the other 2. "Stay low." The journey back felt like miles. The smoke was thicker. The children coughed and cried. Sarah's lungs burned. The blanket on her back caught fire. "Almost there," she gasped. "Almost..." Hands grabbed her, Ashki pulling her through. Other warriors pulled the children out. Sarah collapsed on the ground, coughing violently. Ashki beat out the flames. Around them, the lodge collapsed in a shower of sparks. "The children," Sarah gasped. "Are they..." "Alive, all alive because of you." Sarah looked up. The entire tribe had gathered. The children's mothers sobbed, clutching their sons and daughters. The warriors stared at Sarah with something new in their eyes. Respect. Kuruk pushed through the crowd. He looked at Sarah, lying on the ground, covered in soot and burns, having risked her life for Apache children. "Why?" he asked simply. "Because they're children," Sarah said, her voice hoarse. "Because they deserve to live." Kuruk studied her. Then he turned to the crowd. "This woman ran into fire to save our children, our future. While warriors hesitated, she acted." Murmurs rippled through the tribe. "Maybe," Kuruk said slowly, "maybe we have been wrong about her." Before anyone could respond, a scout ran into camp, shouting, "Comanche, raiding party, coming this way!" Chaos erupted. Warriors grabbed weapons. Women hustled children to safety. Ashki pulled Sarah to her feet. "Come, I take you somewhere safe." "No." Sarah's voice was firm. "I fight." "You can't. You're injured." "I'm not leaving. Not now." Sarah looked at the tribe preparing for battle. "If I'm going to be part of your world, I fight for it. With you." Ashki stared at her. Then, slowly, he handed her a knife. "Stay close to me." They'd been raiding Apache camps for months, but this camp was ready. The Apache warriors formed a defensive line. Sarah crouched behind a barricade with the other women, knife in hand. The attack was brutal. Arrows flew, warriors clashed, screams and war cries filled the air. A Comanche warrior broke through, heading for the barricade where women and children sheltered. Sarah didn't hesitate. She stepped out, knife raised. The warrior laughed, until Sarah ducked under his swing and drove her blade into his side. He went down, shocked. Sarah pulled the knife free, hands shaking. She'd just killed a man. But there was no time to process it. Another Comanche was coming. Sarah fought, desperately, clumsily, but she fought. Beside her, Apache women fought too. Together, they defended their children, their home. The battle turned when Ashki and 3 warriors flanked the Comanche from behind. Realizing they were outnumbered, the raiders retreated, but not before one final arrow found its mark. Sarah felt the impact before the pain, a sudden punch to her side. She looked down to see the arrow buried deep in her abdomen. "Oh," she said almost calmly. Then her legs gave out. "Sarah!" Ashki's scream cut through the battle sounds. He was beside her in an instant, catching her before she hit the ground. "Stay with me, Sarah, stay with me." "I'm okay," Sarah whispered, though blood spread across her dress. "Did we win?" "Yes, we won because of you." His voice broke. "Why did you do this?" "Because I love you," Sarah said simply. "And I love your people, even if they don't love me back." Kuruk appeared, his face grave. He looked at the arrow, at the blood, then at his son's devastated face. "Bring her to my lodge," he commanded. "Quickly, we will save her, if we can." As Ashki lifted her, Sarah heard the whispers, saw the faces of the tribe looking at her with something new. The white woman had saved their children from fire, had fought beside them in battle, had taken an arrow defending their home. She was no longer just a prisoner. She had earned her place. If she survived. Avizu. The arrow had to come out. The tribe's healer, Ista, worked by firelight. Ashki held Sarah's hand as she examined the wound. Deep, but missed vital organs. If we remove quickly, clean properly, maybe she lives. Maybe. Ashki's voice broke. She lost much blood. We do what we can. Rest is up to her spirit. They gave Sarah peyote to dull the pain. She screamed when the arrow came out, then went limp. "She sleeps," Ista said. "Good. Body needs rest. She pointed at Ashki. "You stay, talk to her. Your voice may keep her spirit from wandering." So Ashki stayed. For 3 days and nights, he barely slept. He cleaned her wounds, changed bandages, held water to her lips, and he talked. "You have to survive," he whispered, "because I cannot do this without you. You are my heart, Sarah. Everything." Outside, the tribe watched. They saw the chief's son reduced to desperate prayers, how tenderly he cared for the white woman, how he wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep, wouldn't leave her side. "He loves her," one elder said to Kuruk, "truly loves her." Kuruk nodded. "I know." "And she proved herself, saved our children, fought beside us, took arrow for our people." "I know that too." "Then why do we still refuse them?" Kuruk was quiet. "Because I am afraid. My sister loved white man. He let her die. I cannot watch my son make same mistake." "This woman is not that man," the elder said gently. "She ran into fire for children not her own. She could have fled. Instead, she bled for us." Inside the lodge, Sarah stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, glassy with fever. "Ashki?" He was there instantly. "I'm here." "The children. Did they—" "They're safe. All safe. Because of you." Sarah smiled weakly. "Good." "You have to get better," Ashki said urgently, "because I need you." "I love you," Sarah interrupted. "Whatever happens, I love you. That's enough." But Sarah slipped back into unconsciousness. On the 3rd night, her fever broke. Ista checked her wound and nodded. "Infection is gone. She will live." Ashki nearly collapsed with relief. When Sarah woke the next morning, truly awake, Ashki was still beside her. "You're still here," she said softly. "Where else would I be?" "Your father is coming to speak with us, now." Kuruk entered the lodge. He looked at Sarah, pale but alive, Ashki holding her hand. "You saved my grandchildren," Kuruk said quietly. "They would be dead without you. Anyone would have—" "No, many would not. You are prisoner. You owe us nothing. But you ran into fire anyway, fought beside us anyway, bled for us anyway." "I was wrong," Kuruk continued. "Wrong to keep you prisoner, wrong to deny my son's choice, wrong to let old pain blind me." Ashki's grip on Sarah's hand tightened. "If you want to leave," Kuruk said, "you are free. We will give you horse, supplies, safe passage. But," Ashki said carefully, "if she wants to stay." Kuruk met his son's eyes. "Then she stays. As your wife. With my blessing and the council's approval." The words hung in the air like a prayer answered. "Father," Ashki whispered, I mean you marry her properly, with ceremony and honor." Kuruk's face softened. "I nearly lost my son to exile. I will not lose him because I was too stubborn. She is brave, she is loyal. She loves our people and they love her back." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you." Kuruk nodded and left. "Did that just happen?" Sarah asked. "Yes." Ashki laughed, the sound breaking with emotion. "We can be together, truly together." "Yes," Sarah breathed. "Yes, I'll marry you." They held each other, both crying, both laughing. But their joy lasted only until sunset. A scout burst into camp. "Soldiers, white soldiers, coming from the east, 20 men, maybe more." Ashki's face went white. "They're coming for her." Sarah struggled to sit up. "My people. Someone must have told them I was taken. They're coming to rescue me. Or to kill us all," Hanya said from the entrance. "This is what comes from harboring white woman. Now her people bring war." The tribe gathered quickly. Arguments erupted. Some wanted to flee, others wanted to hide Sarah. A few, led by Hania, wanted to hand her over. "No," Ashki said firmly. "We protect her. She is one of us now." "She is white," Hania shouted. "Her people will kill us to get her back." "Then we fight," Ashki said, "like she fought for us." "Enough," Kuruk's voice cut through the chaos. He turned to Sarah. "What do you want? These are your people, your soldiers. If you want to go with them, we will not stop you." Sarah looked at Ashki, at the tribe that had become her family, at the life she'd built through blood and fire. Then she looked toward where the soldiers were coming from, the world she'd known, the people who'd think they were rescuing her. "I want to stay," Sarah said quietly, "but I need to talk to them, make them understand I'm here by choice, that I'm not a prisoner." She met Kuruk's eyes. "That you're not monsters, that there can be peace." "They won't listen," Hania sneered. "White men only understand violence." "Then I'll make them listen," Sarah said, her voice stronger, "even if I have to stand between two armies to do it." Ashki helped her to her feet, supporting her weight. "Then we stand together, and as the sun set over Arizona, a wounded woman prepared to face her own people, to choose love over loyalty, to bridge two worlds that had been at war for generations, or die trying." The soldiers arrived at dawn, 20 men on horseback, led by a grizzled captain who'd fought Apaches for 15 years. They rode into view of the camp with rifles ready, faces hard. Sarah walked out to meet them, Ashki beside her despite his warriors' protests. "Miss Mitchell," the captain's eyes widened. "Thank God, we heard you were taken prisoner months ago. We've come to bring you home." "I am home," Sarah said quietly. The captain blinked. "Ma'am, I don't think you understand. These are the savages These are the people who saved my life, who took me in, who became my family." Sarah stood straighter despite the pain from her healing wound. "I'm not a prisoner, Captain. I'm here by choice." "That's not possible. These Apache devils must have done something to you, threatened you, hurt you." "The only ones who hurt me were Comanche raiders," Sarah said, "and the Apache defended me, bled for me. One of them," she looked at Ashki, "one of them loves me, and I love him." Shock rippled through the soldiers. The captain's face went red. "You can't mean, Miss Mitchell, this man is Apache. They killed your family." "And white soldiers killed his mother, killed countless Apache families. When does the cycle end, Captain? When do we stop choosing hate?" "This isn't about hate. This is about civilization, about love," Sarah interrupted. "I choose love. I choose peace. I choose to stay." The captain looked at his men, then back at Sarah. "If we leave you here, you'll die. If not from them, then from the life. You're a white woman. You don't belong. I belong where I'm loved, where I'm valued, where I'm home." Sarah took Ashki's hand. "And that's here." For a long moment, the captain said nothing. Then he nodded slowly. "I can't force you to come. But Miss Mitchell, if you change your mind, if they hurt you, if you need help, we're at Fort Apache. You send word, we'll come." "I won't need to, but thank you, Captain." The soldiers rode away, leaving dust and confusion in their wake. The wedding ceremony happened 3 days later. Sarah wore traditional Apache dress, soft deerskin decorated with intricate beadwork made by the women of the tribe. Her hair was braided with eagle feathers, her face painted with sacred symbols. Ashki stood beside her in full ceremonial dress, his face solemn with joy. The entire tribe gathered. Even Hania attended, though he stood at the back, arms crossed. The tribal elder spoke blessings in Apache. Kuruk placed his hands on both their heads, accepting Sarah as daughter. "You came as prisoner," Kuruk said in English so Sarah would understand. "You leave as family, as daughter, as future of our people." Sarah and Ashki exchanged vows, promises in both Apache and English, promises to honor each other's worlds, to build bridges instead of walls, to love despite the cost. When they kissed, the tribe erupted in celebration. 1 year later, Sarah stood outside their lodge, one hand on her swollen belly, watching Ashki teach young warriors how to track. He caught her eye and smiled, that brilliant smile that still made her heart race. She'd never been happier. The baby kicked. Their child, half Apache, half white, belonging fully to both worlds and neither. A living bridge. The tribe had flourished. More white settlers had come seeking peace instead of war. Inspired by Sarah's story, trade agreements, mutual protection pacts, small steps toward a world where love could exist between peoples. It wasn't perfect. There were still those who hated, still violence, still fear, but there was also hope. Ashki returned to her side, his hand joining hers on their growing child. "Happy?" he asked. "More than I ever dreamed possible." "Good, because you are stuck with me forever." Sarah laughed. "Best prison I've ever been in." They watched the sunset paint the Arizona sky gold and red. Two people from different worlds who'd chosen to build something new, something impossible, something beautiful. She was kept as a prisoner just to cook, until the Apache's son wanted her as his wife. And in choosing each other, they proved that love doesn't see color or culture. That home isn't where you're born, it's where you're brave enough to belong. That the greatest courage isn't fighting your enemies, it's loving them into becoming family. Tell me, have you ever had to choose between the world you knew and the love you discovered? Have you ever fought for something everyone said was impossible? If this story touched your heart, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to remember that love is always worth fighting for, no matter the cost. And where in the world are you watching from? I love knowing these stories reach hearts across every border, because stories don't just end, they stay with you. We have a date with our next adventure.